Parikh is the Global HR Head of Krish Technolabs. And Mr. Parikh, thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you, Nishith, and thank you, Keka team, for giving me this opportunity to share my views. And I am working with Krish Technolabs, which is a e-commerce agency, and we are Adobe Gold Solution Partners. We work on digital commerce, and we enable agencies and companies to go online.
Mr. Parikh is a subject matter expert of data analytics, so this is what we'll be talking about today. That is workforce analytics and how we can, harness the data to make better decisions at business. So yeah, the first question to you, Mr. Parikh, would be that data plays a very important role in decision making for businesses and everything. Right? So how can you actually harness the power of workforce analytics and how can you make it work?
So, workforce analytics has been emerging since, I guess, it's more than a decade. But previously, it was more about the consumers, and gradually, companies started to focus on learning the data about their own people, because once there was a theory called client first, and then right now it's people first. So most of the companies who are coming up, they want to first serve their employees, and that's how they make sure that their employees serve their clients. So this change in perspective has made very important for any company to take the decision which are more accurate. And to take more accurate decisions, there is a need to study the data of workforce, and how much old they are, what are their preferences, their diversity in gender, and what are the timings they would like to work in, from which regions they come, culture. So all this, if it's accurately collected and information is generated, or further it is studied, so it will help management, HR leaders to take decisions which will help them to manage the workforce, to evaluate them, and to form policies and processes which will help them to lead HR function, which actually fosters people who are performing well, which rewards people who are doing good, who are contributing to the organization's vision and mission.
So how can you use real-time data to respond to the downsizing, right-sizing, and the future proofing for that matter?
These decisions of scaling up or scaling down people, and then again looking at their productivity or taking at the business volume, companies do take such decisions. But again, the data really helps companies, and most of the companies, I would say, do not collect the data which is required to take such decisions. And most of the time, the business volume, if it's up, then they would go for hiring. If it's down, then they would go for layoffs. And that's what we see due to pandemic. There was an urgent need in people, so there was great resignations. People were getting good offers, they were leaving, and then we are seeing big layoffs, and not so much big, but yeah, companies are right sizing it based on the business. But then I would say that a lot of efforts needs to be given in terms of studying who needs to be right size, which is the population in the company, which is a group of people who needs to be laid off, or who needs to be working on their improvements and productivity, or who can be aligned with the business. So a lot of information, the tracing of the productive hours is necessary in taking decisions like right sizing. And even when you are hiring, a lot of time companies form benches, and this is just to sell. So I have almost received lot of inquiries that if you need a bench of people, we have ready, and if you would like to go ahead. But I see that just to push up the business, companies have hired a lot of people, and now when they don't have enough business from the heavily dependent economies like in US, Europe, outsourcing was going quite heavy, and it was in volumes. They used to ask for people. Now they are not having the demand. So Indian companies who are servicing or who are exporting the services are facing that challenge to place those people who are on bench, those who are hired for business which is coming in future. So but you don't observe that in the manufacturing industry, in the industries which are more physically driven. So the point is, for any decision, we need to look at why we need to hire someone, and rather we need to lay off someone, which is the last thing. At least I would suggest companies to do it. And a lot of good companies, they don't just let go people, they transfer them. And in that, data plays a critical role, like which skill is possessed by them, whether they can be upskilled, whether they can be reskilled. So regarding their learning abilities, their past track, what they have done to learn new things. So all those data, if tracked properly through LMS or through any tools, that will help companies to put those people in another branches of their business, or to go for business which can be served well with the existing skill sets. So in taking all these decisions, that needs to be supported by a good HR data, and so for the future, business data needs to be aligned well with the HR data, so that the strategic decisions can be taken more accurately.
You spoke about data analytics and how it can help organizations, right? But several organizations actually lack the ability to embed data analytics in a day-to-day HR process, correct? And then they find it difficult to consistently use this predictive analysis data and the power to propel business, decision making and better, at it. So how do you think they can leverage this, and where do companies, you think, go wrong with it?
Whatever data you are collecting, you need to process it. You need to look at how it can be utilized to serve or to make a function, which is an HR function, a better function, better than what it was. And in that, an insight is needed that what needs to be collected, and then you need to again have a good ability to interpret what you have collected. You need to process it and then understand, take conclusions from it, or you need to predict or project that this is how this data would be useful, or this can be used to even predict that this will be the cases, or this can be the scenarios. And in all these approaches, business first needs to have priority in implementing the digital systems of collecting it, storing it, and then processing it. So a lot of companies, they do collect data in the form of Excel or some forms, but then they never utilize the analytic softwares, or they don't have people who are expert in processing the data, who are analyzing, who are capable of doing data analysis and coming out with something which is understandable.
Right. So we're speaking about how we can use the data effectively, right? So for that matter, people analytics teams are taking baby steps towards it, right? They are not fully engaged into it, or they are not effectively doing it for that matter. So what do you think makes it, what does it take for that matter to be great at people analytics?
First of all, there must be a need, and it has been said that every need is mother to innovation, and that will fetch. So even the top level management should be asking that where is the people analytics? What if this scenario is there? And what if we need to draw a certain policy? What if I need to offer hybrid to a lot of people? What if I want to go fully remote? All those things would be supported by a data of people, their preferences. So a lot of surveys they do, but then those tools, they gather a lot of information, but then to process those information, HR don't have the tools, and sometimes they even don't have the skills. So first thing, they need to go for learning the data analytics. They need to understand what to capture and how to process it. Then only everything begins from a baby step, but I would say time is changing quite fast. So from the baby step to taking a big leap, we need to be a bit faster, because in this volatile situation, we cannot invest a lot of years. Now they need to use it for their people. So this is not something which is new. It is just that we were not focusing on it, and baby steps are good to begin, but I would say we need to be faster, because what is coming, at least in the technology, what is coming, what are the changes which are coming, if HR is not fast enough, if it's not agile, then this baby step is not going to help. They need to learn data analytics faster. If they can't learn, they need to employ again. They need to have team members, good HR team members, who might not be studying MBA in HR, but they must be very good in data processing. Someone who has done data mining, someone who has done data analytics, might be a good engineer, with a very good data crunching ability, would be doing this job quite well. So they need to think beyond, just the HR work, and that will help them to take the bigger leaps. We can continue to take a baby step further down the line for a year or so, or maybe a 2 year, but things which are coming up, innovations which are coming up, the AI driven things which we listen, like chat GPT and all that. So HR would be replaceable easily if it is a basic version of HR, that will get extinct.
So they have to be constantly updating their.
Yeah, they really need to constantly update. They need to understand. So AI will not replace HR. I recently read this thing that AI will not replace HR. Definitely not. People who know AI, how to use it, how to configure it to serve better, those people will replace HR. So there will be a new generation of HR who would be knowing the analytics, who would be working smartly with AI, and who would know that how the purpose of the company can be served well with all the technology which is available. So yeah, everyone needs to be fast enough to learn it.
That one of the most aggravating factors about being an HR professional, the difficulties that are being faced in extracting data and everything, is the entire fact of getting the data from transactional systems. So a lot of organizations do this manually, right? So how can this be actually made easier, even if it is through HRM systems and all of that?
Adapting the technology so that all the data is in the digital form, it's in the right format, is very necessary, and as fast as you can. Like, this is a ASAP task which needs to be done by a small or a big company. If you think that it's just a 20 people company and let's keep it manual, then again at a 50 people company you will feel the same, and even at a 100 people company you will feel the same, that let's keep it manual, or you will implement certain softwares or certain forms and not automating those, and then again you will be in the same place, and that might not help you when you want to upscale. I have seen a lot of companies which grow big within 5 years, 10 years. So if you are a company who is aspiring, or if you're an HR who is aspiring to really propel and to really push, upscale the organization, first thing you need is that the inflow of your data from the day one, and not even from the day one, even from the day zero. When you don't know that the person would be joining, your data should be digital. Your potential candidates, those who are on social media, their profiles, or whether they are planning to switch the job, everything should be in the system so that you can draw a lot of information from it. You can process it at later stage. So even if the need is not right now, even if you are small, in future you will need it. Because a lot of time, specifically if I give you my example, we used to feel that if I contact a candidate and if he is not interested, then what to do with that. But since 4 years I have been saving those numbers, just because company is focused on a technology or a domain whereby we don't switch domains too many times, and we don't serve a lot of different businesses in IT. We do only digital commerce. And since 10 years, we are not developing any kind of ERPs, we are not working on any kind of other products like applications, social applications, nothing else. We are just doing digital commerce. That's it. So I realized that I need to have those people, whether they take a decision to join, not to join. But I started saving the number, and then we also started saving their profiles, their digital information, everything. We even keep now a track, where he is working, at what level he is working, and when he is planning to switch. So I have a pool of people who are planning to switch, say after 6 months. So everything collected through data, through systems, will help you in one or another way to take decisions or to work on the needs of the business. So yeah, you need to invest in systems, and you can't keep things manual. It's good time if you have a manual system, you automate it, and if you have a digital system, try to improvise it. So a lot of HRMS solutions are there, but very few are providing the integration tools or the tools which can give you insights into people analytics. So those bars chart and those graphs, they seem to be good, but then they need to be designed, they need to be integrated, keeping in view what business will ask the company, and they left. You keep in touch with them, you keep on updating the data, and that feeling of being connected, sometimes it helps. Some of the critical positions were filled just due to we were in touch, even though someone left the job 2-3 years, and then still we were in touch and we had the data, so we were able to contact back, and that's how it works. Good systems to capture it, and if your current systems are not enough, you can modify, improvise, and you can even switch to systems which allows you to do it.
So we know for a fact that beyond just being an expert of data analytics and everything, you have been in the human resource field for a decade now, right? So what does the term HR mean to you?
You have to understand, with all the empathy, with all the people connect, you need to understand how the systems will work for them, for the employee. And somewhere when you grow up in the profession, you also need to take the responsibility of aligning the business needs with the people need. So it starts with doing the transactional activities in the beginning of the career, and at that time you might not have that vision that I'll be doing this, I'll be taking a seat in the boardroom, and I would be suggesting management this and that, working on the HR strategies. But yeah, you need to have that vision built up over a period of time. You have to work, and HR is something you keep on learning. Theories, mathematical theories, management theories are quite different. It changes, right? So a chemical theory or a reaction or an atomic theory might not change. It's constant. So, but the HR theories or the people theories, they change. So all the social theories which are built over a period of time, after a decade, they might be scrapped, because now no one is interested, or they don't follow a behavior pattern which was observed or which was surveyed 20 years back.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parikh, for your thoughts and perspectives about HR and the
Yeah.
data analytics for that matter, which is very crucial in this current era of human resources in the corporate world. With that, we come to the end of our session today. And thanks again, Mr.
Thank you.
Parikh, for doing this with us. We are honored to have you.
Same here.